Hi guys. So I'm going to talk to you today, this video, about some of the downsides of traveling, of relocating abroad, some of the challenges, because I have been asked about that as well. So I recently talked about what it's like to raise kids abroad, and I wouldn't say that that's like a huge challenge other than just what it's like to raise kids anywhere, right? But so as you know, you've been watching my channel. By the way, first of all, hello, and thank you to all the new subscribers. Mwah. Thanks so much. I'm really glad you're here. To those who keep on watching, thanks so much for tuning in still. I appreciate that. So what I want to talk about, as I said, is some of the challenges, because I do get a lot of questions from people about what it's like to decide to just pack up, leave your country, and move someplace else. And so as you can see, I get to float here in the pool, right? There's a lot of great stuff. Being able to enjoy a nice pool at any given day, any time of the year. So there's that. But there are times when things don't go very smoothly. And one of the things I believe I've said repeatedly in my videos is that you have to manage your expectations. Things are not going to operate the same way that they do in your hometown, wherever you are now, if it's the US or Europe or wherever you may be in the world. Things are just going to be different, right? Even though, you know, some of what you see, not necessarily today, but you know, obviously there's tall buildings and there's businesses and there's things like that, but the way that they operate and the way that the culture functions is often quite different from what we're used to. And so one of the things that I had to get over right away when I got here was the notion of efficiency and things operating on a timely basis. It's just not always the case. And what we consider efficient is considered like kind of hyper, like just being super stressed out to other people. They're like, well, just tranquilo, relax. You know, it's gonna get done. Don't worry about it. You don't really need to have all of that right now, you know, whatever it may be. And so you're gonna need to work on your patience and understand that your time frame is not the same time frame for other people. And so just be mindful of that, and that as you are, let's say, waiting for a service person to arrive at your home to, you know, fix your refrigerator or refill, let's say you have a gas tank that you use that your hot water comes from, or your gas to use your stove comes from. You know, you're going to be patient with those people because, you know, they're providing a service for you. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but it's not always right when you expect it to happen. I actually have not had a lot of problems with that, but when I have had those kinds of things happen, I have to be mindful that, okay, they have other things that they're doing, and they have to make money when they can make it, because their salaries here, or it's not even salaries really, but the money they make is not guaranteed. And so if they get a call to do something for someone else that's going to pay them maybe 3 times as much, they're definitely going to go do that first, and you may be waiting. That being said, I think people are really kind and very, very willing to be helpful. I mentioned this on another video I did, and that is that sometimes you'll run into people who think differently than we do. And what I mean by that is that they may try to take advantage of the fact that you are paying for a service. And so, for example, I had a man come to my home when I first moved in here to hang some pictures and do some little, like, you know, handyman kind of stuff around the house. And when he told me what he was charging me, I was like, wait a second, like, that's way high. And, you know, and he knocked like a little bit off the bill, but it was still really high. Like, clearly I knew that it shouldn't cost that much money. And I paid him, you know, I didn't fuss about it, I paid him, but I took a mental note. I was like, okay, he's just trying to get what he can get in this moment, right? Because again, education here can be very low, and so people aren't brought up with the idea of like forethought or like long-term thinking about, you know, if I do this well for a reasonable price, she's likely to call me back again and again and again and tell her friends and all that, whereas if I just charge her as much as I can get out of her right now, that's going to be it. But that's what he did. And so, you know, it was a one-shot deal. And he screwed up, because I've definitely called people for all kinds of things since then. And but I'm not calling him. I will not call him again. And there are times as a single parent here, it can be difficult because it's just a lot. It's the same thing as being a single parent anywhere. It's like, you know, got to do everything, figure this out and pay this and cook the food and da da da, whatever, just all of that. And sometimes that gets overwhelming, even in a place where it's inexpensive and it's lovely. I do have someone, the upside is that I can afford to have someone come in and cook for me and clean and can get a sitter, and it's all very inexpensive. And so I don't have someone who cooks every day. She doesn't necessarily come and clean every week because we don't really need it. It doesn't really get that dirty, but you know, she came one week and cleaned twice because we had been away for the summer. I just wanted to really kind of blow out the dust and all that stuff. But there are times, yeah, where I feel like, man, I just wish I had some support from home, you know, grandparents or friends. Thankfully, one of my son's friends has just moved here. If you saw the video I posted about kids in the DR raising kids, a family from home has moved to our same town, and so the boys are now in the same school again, which is wonderful. And one of the boys said, after I turned the video off, the last one, he said, yeah, I don't miss home at all. And, you know, there's just more space here and things like that. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the cost of living is so low. And so what you can get in terms of housing is so much greater than what you may be dealing with at home, which is great for kids. You know, there's lots and lots of outdoor space. Pretty much every house is going to come with a pool. And so you'll be able to enjoy that. But another thing, if you are used to driving at home, yeah, you can drive here. You can certainly get a Dominican driver's license, but be aware that the driving is nuts. And so you want to take your time. I always say err on the side of caution. I'd much rather be like the slow person driving down the street than trying to keep up with them with all the craziness. You know, you got to get used to the way things flow here. And you want to take your time with yourself. You know, you want to give yourself the space and time to just make those adjustments, whether it's like the physical adjustments, getting used to a new route, you know, where your grocery store is, or the new flow at your kid's school, or, you know, understanding the language or understanding how business is done. You're going to need to take some time and be patient with yourself as well as with other people. And also just know that you're going to have some days we'll probably wonder, is this, I don't know, not so much was it a good idea, but like, you're kind of tired of the way things go. That could happen. Now, I know there are a lot of people, especially the guys, who like to go up to Sosua and see the ladies and all that stuff, and that's great. And so you guys may be like, there's never a day that I wish I weren't here. There's never a day that I wonder about that. And that's fine, right? I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are living here, so I'm not talking so much about, you know, enjoying the beautiful women or the beautiful men. I'm talking about day-to-day kinds of things, like I said about, you know, maybe having a house repair done, or, you know, here's an example at the grocery store. I don't know what it is here, but you know when you push your cart through the aisle when you're doing the checkout and you take your stuff out and you put it on the belt, and then you either like you move your cart to the side or you push it out all the way out and you use it to go to the parking lot. That doesn't happen here. They take their stuff out and they just leave the cart there behind them. Like, I guess I'm supposed to move it? It's just so weird to me. Things like that. They can also be very loud, like right next to you, just talking so loudly. And those kinds of things I find to be annoying often because it's like, why are you screaming in my ear? Not talking to me, but talking to someone next to them. And so, you know, again, that's some of the cultural challenges. In some ways, I think people here are very polite, very kind. And in other ways, I feel like they just don't get it. But really, it's me. I don't get it because I'm not Dominican. And so you're just going to want to be patient. You're going to want to take your time. I would build in like a mental health day every now and then where you just take a break and, you know, allow yourself to recharge. Maybe you don't have to go out into the world and like do your shopping or do your running around. If you want to float at the beach one day or just stay in your house and chill out. Oh, the heat. Even if you like hot weather, you're probably going to have to adjust because it's real hot down here. Now today, it's actually raining a little bit right now. Today's the first day where it's been kind of bearable. For the last several weeks, it's been flaming hot. And so finally we're getting some rain. But as you can tell, even with the rain, it's just really wonderful. The water is warm, warm, warm. And so those are the benefits you get when you go through the hard times and you get, you know, you become annoyed with some of the things you have to deal with. Don't forget, you're going to have days like this where everything kind of calms down and it feels good. You'll enjoy very inexpensive, very delicious food, have a lot of great help that is very affordable. and there are just plenty of upsides. But keep in mind, moms, dads, single people, just anybody really, that you're gonna go through some challenges, and know that that's just normal, right? Anytime you have any type of change in life, transitions are difficult. And so getting used to any type of new flow or new routine, understanding a culture, understanding a language, figuring out why someone would respond to a question or to a problem a certain way is going to take you a little bit of time. So be patient with yourself, be patient with other people, and enjoy yourself, okay? I'm gonna go take a quick dip. Hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. As always, I'm sending you some love. Bye.